In this video, I'm going to show you how to add and edit elements in a document that you're building in the Document Maker. So I've selected a student and I'm going to click on Document Maker. And then I'm going to add a style to create a brand new blank template. Now remember to make sure that the style is named so that you can save it. So I'm going to call this Sample Template. And then I'm going to keep it on the Certificates Landscape preset. Just to show you what it looks like when I change presets. If I wanted to go an ID card portrait preset, it'll change the size of the canvas to an ID card in portrait mode. But I'm going to stay on Certificates Landscape. I'm going to make sure the status is set to gray so that no one can modify it until it's completely finished or use it to print. And then I'm going to save it. And now I'm going to start adding and modifying elements. So to add elements to a blank canvas, you click this Open button here. Now this drop down would show you all of the elements that are currently on the canvas. Right now there isn't anything, so I'm going to click Add Element, and I'm going to just go ahead and add a shape to show you how this works. So the shape appears as a little square here. I can click and drag it anywhere I want on the canvas. This shows me that the shape is selected in this Elements drop down menu. And then each element has two places where you can edit it. Every element has a general qualities drop down here that you can minimize or maximize if you want to show it or hide it. So I can change the label of it, so I could call this white square. And now when I change the label, it changes the label in my list of elements so that it's easier to identify what I have selected. These two top and left sliders adjust the actual position of the element, and you can get really precise with it on the canvas if you need to do that. You can also just click and drag it to place it where you want. And then I can adjust the height, and this is in inches, of the element on my canvas, as well as the width. So if I wanted to get specific, I could go 3.2 or 4.5, and that will adjust the height and width of the element. Now these two auto buttons only work on certain elements, and I will cover what those do in those elements. But for most of them, you don't need to worry about this. Just set the height and width of the object that you're modifying. You can change the opacity of the element, which means how much you can see through it. This is useful if you're layering elements or you want something to be sort of faded out. You can use the opacity slider to make that change, and you can also rotate the element using the rotation slider. And you can use the arrow keys to fine-tune the individual segments of the rotation or of the opacity. If I wanted to add another element, I would just click Add Element here at the bottom. I can also delete this element when it's selected to get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and add another element. I'm going to add another shape. You see it generates another shape here, and I'm going to make this one 5 inches. Now you can see here that this shape is above the first shape I created. Now things are layered in the order that you create them. If I want this shape to be behind all the other ones, I can click this button here, Send to Back. Now this object is behind everything else that I've already created. And if I want to bring it back to the front, I can click Bring to Front. And in this way you can organize the layering of all the elements you have on your canvas. So that covers the basic qualities of creating, editing, and arranging elements on your canvas in the Document Maker.